Have you ever wondered how GitHub Copilot works? What if a tool could understand your code and help you write it faster and better? Enter GitHub Copilot, your new AI-powered coding companion. Created in a joint venture between GitHub and OpenAI, it's an innovative code completion tool designed to make your life as a developer easier. Whether you're working in Visual Studio Code, NeoVim, or JetBrains, Copilot is there to assist, providing autocomplete suggestions for code snippets that are tailored to the context and style of your project. Imagine this: you're in the middle of writing a function, but you're not quite sure how to complete it. With traditional tools, you might have to stop and search for a solution. But with Copilot, you just keep typing. It can predict what you're trying to do and offers suggestions to help you finish your thought. It's like having a Copilot in the cockpit of your code, guiding you towards your destination. But it's not just about auto-completing code. Copilot can turn your comments into runnable code. Say you've jotted down a note about what a particular function should do, Copilot can take that comment and turn it into a working piece of code. It's like having a translator that speaks both human and computer. And for those moments when you're navigating unfamiliar coding frameworks or languages, Copilot is there to help guide the way. By understanding the context of your project, it can offer suggestions that are relevant and useful, even in uncharted territories. It's like having a tour guide who not only knows the local language, but also understands your personal style and preferences. GitHub Copilot is more than just a tool, it's your coding companion. Trained on a wide range of programming languages from public repositories, it uses the OpenAI Codex model, a modified version of GPT-3, to generate human-like text. This allows Copilot to adapt to your personal coding style over time and provide suggestions that feel natural and intuitive. GitHub Copilot is like having an experienced pair programmer at your side, assisting you when you need it. So, what makes GitHub Copilot so efficient and versatile? Well, the answer lies in the brains behind this remarkable tool. GitHub Copilot is more than just a code completion tool. It's a sophisticated AI assistant that's trained on a wide range of programming languages from public repositories. This vast training data set provides Copilot with an extensive understanding of different coding patterns, styles, and contexts. But where does the magic happen? The magic happens in the OpenAI Codex model, the engine that powers GitHub Copilot. The OpenAI Codex model is a modified version of GPT-3, one of the most potent language models developed by OpenAI. This model is specifically designed to generate human-like text, making it an ideal candidate for generating code that's not only functional, but also readable and maintainable. So how does the OpenAI Codex model contribute to the proficiency of GitHub Copilot? Well, imagine being able to tap into the collective knowledge of millions of developers worldwide. That's essentially what the OpenAI Codex model does. It uses its vast training data to understand the context of your code and provide appropriate suggestions. Moreover, the model's ability to generate human-like text means it can convert your code comments into runnable code. Autocomplete chunks of code, repetitive sections, entire methods or functions, and even help navigate unfamiliar coding frameworks and languages. It's like having a seasoned developer sitting next to you, offering insights and suggestions as you code. Over time, GitHub Copilot adapts to your personal coding style. It learns from your patterns and preferences, making its suggestions increasingly relevant and personalized. This adaptability is yet another testament to the power and sophistication of the OpenAI Codex model. In conclusion, GitHub Copilot is not just about auto-completing your code, it's about harnessing the power of AI to make coding more efficient, more enjoyable, and less error-prone. The OpenAI Codex model is the secret ingredient that makes GitHub Copilot more than just an autocomplete tool. Now that you know what GitHub Copilot is and how it works, what can it do for you? Let's dive into the heart of GitHub Copilot, its features. GitHub Copilot is a veritable Swiss Army knife for developers, packed with tools to streamline your workflow and enhance your productivity. At its core, GitHub Copilot is an AI-powered code completion tool. It offers autocomplete suggestions for code snippets based on the context and style of your project. This means that whether you're working on a JavaScript web app, a Python data science project, or a Rust game engine, Copilot will provide relevant suggestions to help you write your code faster and with fewer errors. But GitHub Copilot is not just an autocomplete tool. It also has a chat assistance feature that works right within your IDE. This means you can ask Copilot questions about your code, and it will provide explanations for code snippets, helping you understand how your code works and how to improve it. One of the most impressive features of GitHub Copilot is its ability to convert code comments into runnable code. This means that you can simply write a comment describing what you want your code to do, and Copilot will generate the code for you. This feature can be a real time saver, especially when you're working on complex functions or methods. GitHub Copilot is also a great tool for navigating unfamiliar coding frameworks and languages. If you're learning a new language or working with a new framework, Copilot can provide relevant autocomplete suggestions and explanations, making the learning process smoother and less daunting. Over time, Copilot will adapt to your personal coding style. This means that the more you use it, the better it gets at providing suggestions that match your coding habits and preferences. In summary, GitHub Copilot is designed to speed up development, increase productivity, and reduce the time you spend on repetitive tasks. It's like having a seasoned developer by your side, guiding you through your coding journey and helping you write better code faster. GitHub Copilot is not just a tool, it's a productivity booster for developers. Like any tool, GitHub Copilot has its limitations, but what are they? Let's delve into a few. First off, while Copilot is trained on a wide array of public repositories, it's not omniscient. Its suggestions are as good as the data it was trained on, meaning it might not always suggest the most optimal solution. It's like a well-intentioned friend who is quick with advice, but doesn't know everything. One key issue is that Copilot can sometimes propose inaccurate or inefficient code. This is because it bases its suggestions on patterns it's learned from the training data, and not every pattern is a winner. So while it can be a handy helper, it's essential to scrutinize its suggestions, just as you would with a human colleague's input. On the same note, Copilot's suggestions are not always in line with the best coding practices. While it's trained on a vast corpus of code, it doesn't differentiate between high-quality code and less desirable examples. It's a bit like a parrot, repeating what it has learned without understanding the underlying principles. Another limitation is that Copilot can't guarantee the security or the license compliance of its suggestions. This means that while it may suggest a piece of code that works perfectly, it might inadvertently propose a snippet that infringes on copyright laws or introduces a security vulnerability. Also, while Copilot is designed to adapt to your coding style over time, it still has a way to go in terms of customization. For instance, it might not always catch on to your preferred naming conventions or indentation style. It's like a new team member who is still getting used to the way you do things. Despite these limitations, it's important to remember that Copilot is a tool, not a replacement for a human coder. It's there to assist and speed up the coding process, not to take over entirely. In conclusion, while GitHub Copilot has its limitations, it's crucial to remember that every tool has its strengths and weaknesses. The trick lies in understanding these limitations and using the tool effectively within these bounds. Despite its limitations, GitHub Copilot remains a valuable asset for any developer. So, who can use GitHub Copilot and how much does it cost? Let's dive right in. GitHub Copilot is not a tool that is restricted to a select few. It is, in fact, designed to be a helping hand for a broad spectrum of people involved with coding. Whether you are an individual developer, a freelancer, a student, an educator, or an open source maintainer, GitHub Copilot is there to assist you. It is built to enhance your experience as a developer, making your job a tad bit easier. Now, let's talk about students, educators, and open source maintainers. We all know how crucial these roles are in the grand scheme of the coding world. They are the ones who are constantly learning, teaching, and contributing to the open source community. Recognizing their invaluable contribution and the need for efficient tools to aid in their efforts, GitHub has made Copilot available for free to verified students, teachers, and maintainers of popular open source projects. Yes, you heard it right, it's free. This allows these pivotal members of the coding community to focus on their core tasks without worrying about the financial aspect of accessing such a powerful tool. But what about the individual developers and freelancers? Well, GitHub has not forgotten about them. While we don't have exact numbers, rest assured that GitHub has made efforts to ensure Copilot is priced affordably. This means that even if you're a solo developer or a freelancer, you can still benefit from this AI-powered code completion tool without breaking the bank. In a nutshell, GitHub Copilot is a widely accessible tool. It democratizes AI-powered code completion, making it available to a large number of people involved in coding, regardless of their role. So whether you're a student trying to complete your project, a teacher explaining complex code snippets, an open-source maintainer working on a popular project, or a freelancer juggling multiple clients, GitHub Copilot is within your reach. With its wide reach and affordable pricing, GitHub Copilot is accessible to all, making coding easier for everyone.